23rd, and this is Factory 5 Live. Today, we're going to talk about interns. Now, unfortunately, this summer, we don't have any internships because of the coronavirus thing. We don't know what's going to happen, but I want to talk about if you want to intern at Factory 5, how to do that and what to expect. Also, what our goals are for interns. Right off the bat, I'm going to be a little politically incorrect. And let me say it this way. An intern is an apprentice, is a chance to learn. And one of the things that bugs me, and look, I love youth. Youth is great. One of the things that bugs me is in pop culture, youth is celebrated as an icon. You know, AOC politically, the college kid that wears the Che Guevara shirt. Okay, does he understand anything about Che Guevara? The evil that communism and suppression and totalitarianism did? No. He's got an iconic shirt, right? Hope looking off into the distance. Icons of pop music are typically not as talented as people who spend a whole lifetime polishing their craft. So here, an apprenticeship, an internship is about learning. And I want to talk to you about the program that we have so that if you're a parent and you're thinking about having your kid intern here, maybe pay attention because we're a little bit different than an average company. First of all, an intern is not here to teach. I just actually heard on, I was online today, and it was Earth Day the other day, and I heard Greta Thunberg said, "Oh, why do I care what Greta Thunberg said? She's 17 years old. I mean, I got a pair of work gloves older than her. So, no, I don't care about the opinion of youth. They're great, I got it and everything. But an intern is here to learn. So first step, my nephew was an intern, and he's got the Jesus beard and the man bun, and I was like, no, it's high and tight. You come in here, you get a haircut. Now, I'm not exactly a poster child, but I can't get my haircut. I'm ready to go to get a Flowbee. So, interns at Factory 5 are here to learn. Let's talk about what are the goals for an intern, and usually it's a mechanical engineering intern. If you have a business background, that works too. We've had Charlie Ionata was a business major at Wake Forest. He was an intern. Mostly though, so way back in the day, we had Chris was an MIT intern, mechanical engineer, Jacob, some of the early guys. But this intern program, this training program has kind of evolved. So let me step you through what we do with interns, and then if you guys have any questions, I'll be happy to answer them. One of the most important things, and I don't know, the first thing that an intern needs to learn that I think a lot of our youth need to learn is respect. I have a lot of respect for the military. I have a lot of respect for freedom. Comes with a lot of responsibilities. And we want to teach respect here, not just respect for other people, but respect for work and respect for craft, respect for learning. I don't really want your opinion, I want you to learn. And that means you got to shut up and pay attention. And we're going to give an intern an opportunity to work with people who have been doing this for 25 years plus, who have a lot of experience. So what are the goals when an intern, a young guy or girl starts here, college, mechanical engineer typically, what are some of the goals? I wrote them down. Respect for labor, respect for tools, respect for each other, respect. Value engineering. One of the things Factory 5 does really well is value engineering. That prospect of balancing the 4 Ps of marketing that we expanded to 7 Ps, taking all those sometimes conflicting priorities of price and product quality and promotion, all those things and mixing them together. Jim's a genius at that. Having a chance to work with Jim for a summer is a real blessing. And we'll put you to work, but while you're working and while you're doing hands-on mechanical engineering stuff, you're going to be learning value engineering. That's a huge gift. That's a huge trait to take with you for your future jobs. And a lot of big companies don't have that. They have you pigeonholed. We like to have you do a lot of stuff. I like to teach problems. Every intern that leaves here has to learn the thing that my father taught me when I was growing up. Every great employee should have 3 problems. 1, I have no problems. 2, I cause no problems. And 3, I solve all of your problems. If you can't get that straight, you're not going to be successful in business. That's what we teach here. I have no problems. If an intern starts and he's got problems, I don't have time for the intern. He's gone. If an intern comes in and starts and causes problems, I don't have time. He's gone. If an intern comes, learns, listens, applies, meets challenges, solves problems, he just figured out the solution in business and success. So I have no problems, I cause no problems, and I solve all of your problems. That's Intern 101 at Factory 5. Experience. The experience you're going to get here as an intern is going to be really interesting. Now I'm going to tip my hand, and I'm going to teach you, I'm going to tell you what my secret is. Honestly, how many people are going to watch this Facebook thing? How many people are going to actually hold me to this, but this is what I do with interns, and it's a training program that I've evolved over the years. I think we did a better job later and a worse job earlier training interns, but here's how we start. The first week is akin to Hell Week in the military. Now, we're not going to tip our hand. We're not going to tell the new mechanical engineering student that he's going to go through this, but I'm going to pick out Charlie Ionato. Charlie, I know his dad. He's a smart kid who was going to Wake Forest and wanted an internship. So what does he do the first day he gets here? Comes in the office, all ready to go. Oh yeah, you know what you're going to do today? You're going to go out to molding. Now it's an early summer day, 86 degrees out. We've got old molds that have been tired, they've been taken offline, and a mold is, you know, 1.25 inches of thick fiberglass composite with steel behind it. And those things have to be cut up and thrown away. The steel needs to go in the steel bin, the fiberglass needs to go in the fiberglass bin. It's a really nasty job. Full Tyvek, because it's dusty and dirty, you don't want to get that stuff on your skin. Respirator, 8 hours a day, Monday, Tuesday. What are you going to do Wednesday? Charlie, we still got some molds that need to be cut up outside. Thursday, still got some molds cut up. Friday, Charlie comes in, takes off his Tyvek, and he's soaked to the bone in sweat. And I said, Charlie, come on and sit down. How was your first week? Now, he's such a good kid. He said, well, you know, it wasn't what I was expecting, Dave, but it was a good week. And I said, you just spent your week working with your back and working in challenging conditions in molding. Now, are you ready to work with your brain? And he said, I'd really like to work with my brain. Air-conditioned office, computer, CAD station, spreadsheet stuff. Well, I said, Charlie, I said, if you're working on tooling or a parts list, a bill of materials list, if you're working on an advertisement, if you're working on something that relates to those guys, do you respect that job now? A mechanical engineering student who's going to design tooling for the guys on the other side of the wall to use. If he spends a week in Hell Week doing their jobs, now he respects labor. And now, when that welder's having a problem with a tool, this is a classic problem in business. It's called the wall. On one side, you have the designers and engineers, and they throw the product over the other side. And then you got the guys who are actually making the stuff. When I was in California, we had these high-capacity molding machines, and the molders were always complaining about the quality of the mold. And the mold makers who made the mold are always complaining about the quality of the operating staff and the parameters they're using on the machines. It's always pointing fingers. So by starting a mechanical engineering student in the world of welding, in the world of molding, in the world of really hard work, they respect that job. And now when they're designing tooling for it, they're walking that tooling out and they're working with the welders on the floor to make sure the tooling's good. And if the welders are having a hard time, they know what a hard time is. So that's respect. I had a friend of mine, Dan Feldman, a buddy of mine growing up, his son Colin worked here. And Colin spent the week doing landscaping, cutting the grass, throwing garbage away, getting scrap steel put away. I mean, really hard stuff. And I had him go out to my house to pick up a car that was in my garage with Chris and some of the guys. So he gets in the trailer, they drive out. My wife's home, and she says, hi, Colin, how's the internship going? And he's like, well, you know, I didn't expect to be doing a lot of yard work. And I pulled Colin aside at the end of the week, and I said, Colin, I said, your job isn't to give me your opinion. I was doing it for a reason. You know, respect for labor is underneath everything. If more managers and leaders in companies respected labor from the very beginning, there would be so few management problems with labor because they respect it. And I'll tell you what, one of the hallmarks of Factory 5 is respect for labor. The guys that build our products, the guys that build our everything, respect. So interns here at Factory 5 are treated a little differently, but also given an opportunity to do really fun stuff. Go to an autocross, work on cars that you could never work on before. I mean, I walked past that Haggerty Cobra, that coupe rather. I mean, that's going to be going all over the country for Haggerty Insurance Company. What an honor it is to work on something like that. So given the opportunity to, and some of the interns can get on each other's nerves. I remember one intern said to another one, you know, just help me finish this car so I can get it running and run you over with it. So, you know, that doesn't mean that we're all going to get along perfectly, but the goal of an internship is to learn. So you want to apply for an internship at Factory 5, it's easy. Info@Factory 5, send me an email. And now, how's my advice? You're going to send an email. Put your resume, your experience. You know, a lot of you kids have never worked anywhere before. Put whatever you got in an application. Send it in. Now, if you're not smart, you'll send it in and forget it, right? Follow up. Send an email once a week, once a month. Follow up. Because you know what'll happen? You'll have that internship. You say, what about that kid from the Citadel? Remember that kid from the Citadel? I want him in here. you got to stay persistent because all the guys here are busy. We're working for a living. You got to put yourself in the other person's position and say, these guys are busy. I want to work with them. I'm going to make it easy for them to contact me. I'm going to send them an email every week or two, every month. Stay persistent. Don't give up. Don't be afraid to take a job that you think is below you. You know, I remember I worked as a petroleum distributor on the Northeast seaboard. I worked at a gas station, okay? Come on, guys. Start somewhere, get experience, listen to your boss, learn, incorporate that. And an opportunity to work at Factory 5, we've probably had 30 interns. We usually do 2 a year, send an email in. Like I said, this year we might not have any. All rules are off this year. And for you guys that are graduating this year, my heart breaks for you, you know. Not having a formal graduation ceremony and stuff must suck. But anyway, so interns, let me see if I missed anything. I insulted college kids in AOC and Che Guevara shirts. I think the best way to say it, explaining craft, is I was at my wife and I love this jazz trumpet player, Chris Botti, B-O-T-T-I, I think it spells his name. And Chris is probably 50, 55 years old, cool guy, jazz trumpet player, I mean, world class. And in all of his concerts, halfway through his concerts, he stops and he asks the audience, you know, do we have any musicians here? And invariably there's a young, you know, pianist, there's a trumpet player, there's someone who's playing the violin. And he encourages young musicians not to fall for the trap of pop music, which is, you know, instant stardom. And I'm going to tell the whole world what Taylor Swift thinks is important. Well, what does Taylor Swift know that a working man doesn't know? That a person with experience in life, that's raised a family, that's had a job, that's lost friends, that's served in the military. That's the kind of experience that we value. It's craft. And so taking your experience and honing your experience and learning from talented people and polishing that craft over a lifetime, that's where greatness comes from. Don't expect success overnight. So interns here, these are the kind of things we like to try to teach. And I like to think we've been pretty successful. For 25 years, we've been able to incorporate a mix of extremely challenging vectors and come out with products that people seem to want. And the only way that's going to stay, and the only way we're going to stay ahead and not go out of business, if we remember that every single day and do our very best every single day. We try to teach those values and those ideas to interns. So if you want to intern at Fact 5, do your best. We get a lot of applications. We do our best to look through them and really give people a fair shake. If anybody has any questions, Dave, I can answer questions. It's a pretty straightforward subject, and I did it in 12 minutes, man. So yay me, I'm getting less long-winded, you know? So any questions you got, Dave, or are we going to wrap up?
We're good.
Crickets from the interns. Just remember, you're going to spend a week working in the yard. What, Dave?
Just lots of positive comments, and people like your shirt.
People like the shirt?
Yeah.
Some people don't like the shirt, but I love Ronnie. He's my man. And, well, it's a message, you know? I don't go for stoners. The whole medical marijuana thing got the whole legalization thing started. I don't care what your opinion is. I'm a freedom guy, which means you want to do whatever you want to do it. But the path to greatness, and here's a political speech. I'm going to get political. When I was growing up, I watched the Saturn V rocket moon missions to the moon. We dreamed of going to Mars, of exploring the deep sea ocean. I remember in college I did a research paper. I went down to Woods Hole Oceanographic Institute and I met Bob Ballard. I was walking around the oceanography department and there he is, his office door, and I walked by his office and said, "Come on in, young man." And he taught me. And he spent an hour with me, Bob Ballard. And we dreamed of great things. Our vision as a country was so great. You know, is our vision as a country today to see how many people we can give free stuff to? Is that our vision? Is our vision to see how many people can legally get stoned? Whether there's anything right about it or wrong about it, what great is there about it? What dream is there about it? Who dreams of being great gets stoned? No one. No one. What are the things that we dream as a country to do? You know, how fast can we go on the ground? You know, Jesse Coons died going over 400 miles an hour. That's what we want in life. We want people who aspire and inspire others. We want dreams. So an intern, you work here, cut your hair short, come to work, show up early, stay late, do your job, learn, and if you really learn from great people around you, you'll be the smart one. But if a youngster comes here and wants to teach, you know, one of the things that drives me nuts, because I'm getting crazy political now, Dave, is all these get out the vote campaigns. If a United States citizen doesn't have the intelligence to get off his ass and go vote, I don't want your vote. Who wants to round up a bunch of people that don't want to vote? Now, if someone needs help getting to the ballot box, I'm the first one to drive them there. But come on, guys, convincing someone why they should vote, when people have died to give you the privilege of doing that, you're a moron. I don't want your vote. You know, Ben Franklin said you ought to be a property owner. I don't believe in that, but I think you ought to have skin in the game. You ought to pay taxes. You ought to have a job. You ought to be part of a productive member of society. Remember that growing up? So interns are going to get a non-political, because here I don't care what your politics are. Remember, I'm a freedom guy. I don't care what your religion is. I care about how hard you work and how good you are at your job, how good you are at learning. Those are the ways we measure success. So, Dave, that's Factory 5's internship program. Now we're going to get internship applications at Factory 5 have plummeted. So, guys, it's Thursday. We're doing a slow, phased return to work. We've got a small crew here. We're starting to satisfy some parts orders going out. We're trying to do a good job. We're really working hard at keeping people healthy here and keeping people socially distanced and all, sanitizing surfaces, doing everything. So if you got questions about the internship program, go ahead and send them to info@Factory 5. Dave out.